His face didn't move, but I could feel him screaming in my head as I swerved to miss him. And when I checked the rearview mirror, there were 3 of him. I was driving home from my sister's cabin late last Sunday. The kind of stretch where the trees press in tight, and even the moonlight feels like it's holding its breath. I hadn't seen another car in nearly an hour. No street lights. No exits. Just the hum of my tires and the static from a weak FM signal trying to play something that used to be music. Around 2:14 a.m. I spotted him. A man. Standing in the middle of the passing lane. Not walking. Not flailing. Just standing, perfectly still. Like a wax figure someone left on the highway. He was barefoot. Wearing a thin, soaked white shirt that clung to his chest. His pants were too short, like a kid's dress-up suit. And he didn't move as I barreled toward him at 70 miles an hour. But here's the worst part. He was staring right at me. Not at the car. At me. Our eyes locked across the windshield. His were wide, gray, sunken, and somehow calm. Like he knew something I didn't. I yanked the wheel hard and veered into the shoulder, my tires screaming against the gravel. For a split second I thought I clipped him, my whole chest clenched like a snapped seatbelt, but when I looked in the rearview mirror, he was still standing. Only now there were 3 of him. Same clothes. Same pale stare. Same frozen posture. One in the passing lane. One in the middle. One in the shoulder where I had just been. I don't even remember pressing the gas. I just remember the sudden roar of the engine and the gut-deep instinct to get away. The radio hissed louder, garbled with static. But underneath it, I swear I heard whispering. Not words, just syllables. Like a broken voice trying to catch up with itself. My hands were shaking. My vision tunneled. I passed a green highway marker, mile 129, and told myself I'd report it when I got to the next gas station. Maybe he was hurt. Maybe it was a trick. Maybe I was exhausted. But then, there he was again, standing by the next marker. Same face, same eyes, watching. I didn't slow down. I didn't blink. I just gripped the wheel so hard my knuckles ached. Then another one, this time closer to the road. Then another, on the median, then the center line. At one point, I swear I passed 5 of them in a row. Each one a few feet closer to the edge of the asphalt. Each one closer to my lane. That's when the radio cut out completely. No music, no static, just breathing, shallow. What? Right in my ears like someone was inches from my head. My rearview mirror began to fog, not from heat but from something inside it. I wiped it instinctively, but the fog was on the glass itself. Behind it, almost. I started seeing shapes behind me. Pale limbs. Glimpses of a jaw too wide. A neck too long. I hit 90 miles an hour and kept going. Finally, after what felt like years, I saw the faint glow of a gas station. One lone canopy light flickering over the pumps like it was trying to stay awake. I pulled in, slammed it into park, and ran inside. The guy at the counter gave me a weird look when I asked if he'd seen anyone on the road. He just shook his head. "You're the first person I've seen in hours." I pointed at the highway. There was a man, multiple men, standing out there. He frowned. "What mile?" I told him. 129. His face went blank. "You sure?" I nodded. He didn't say anything for a while, then finally muttered, "They say no one should stop near that stretch. Especially after midnight. Something about the copies." I didn't ask. I didn't want to know. I bought a coffee, sat in my locked car, and waited for the sun. I haven't driven that road since. But sometimes, when I'm alone on my street at night, I catch a glimpse of a man on the sidewalk. Barefoot. White shirt. Just watching. Not walking. Not waving. Just waiting. And when I blink, there's more than one. The GPS screen turned red and said, "Do not move." 3 seconds later, something tapped on the back window, like it already knew I would stop. It was supposed to be a quick drive, Just 2.5 hours to my cousin's place, straight down the interstate. I left a little after 11 p.m. to avoid traffic. Coffee in the cup holder, music low, eyes alert. I'd done night drives before. Peaceful even, but this time, something was off the moment I passed mile marker 84. The GPS on my phone chirped, rerouting, even though I hadn't missed a turn. Then the map spun wildly, like it lost orientation, before locking onto a thin gray line I didn't remember seeing before. Turn right onto Service Road 17, it said. I hesitated. I was still on the main road and everything looked fine. But then roadwork signs, orange cones, barricades, flashing arrows forcing traffic into a detour. I sighed, figuring it was just construction. I turned off, down the service road. It was narrow. No lights. Just dirt and tree silhouettes pressing in on either side. The headlights barely reached beyond 20 feet. And my GPS? The map had zoomed out weirdly. No road names, no intersections. Just the blue arrow floating through darkness. I drove slowly. That's when the GPS blinked. What? Then a black screen. Then red text filled the display. Do not move. I laughed nervously, thinking maybe it was a glitch. Then my engine cut off. Lights out. Power gone. The music stopped mid-beat, replaced by a sudden, suffocating silence. I was alone, in the middle of nowhere. No signal, no other cars, no moon, just the faint tick of my cooling engine. And then I heard it, from the back window. Not hard, not frantic, just deliberate, like someone knocking politely to be let in. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I just stared straight ahead, refusing to look at the rearview mirror. Another tap, then a voice. Oh, come. Not muffled like it should have been through glass. Don't move. It hasn't seen your face yet. My throat locked. My hands were slick on the steering wheel. The air inside the car felt thick, like it was being sucked out slowly. Something was wrong with the pressure. I couldn't tell if the voice had come from inside the car or just behind my ear. I dared to glance sideways. The GPS screen was back, but it didn't show a map anymore. It showed a reflection, my own face frozen in fear. And behind me, a figure, tall, black eyes, no mouth. It wasn't standing on the road. It was somehow hovering, just inches above the ground. Its head tilted in small, unnatural ticks, like a curious dog or a puppet being studied by invisible strings. Tup, tup, tup. The knocks continued, slower now, more playful. I tried the ignition. Nothing. I whispered, "Please?" The figure moved to the side of the car. Not walking, gliding. Its fingers brushed the windows. Long, too many joints, like bent twigs bending wrong. Then it crouched beside the rear tire, still watching, waiting. The GPS flashed again. Stay still. It responds to motion. My legs burned to move. My chest screamed to run. But I froze, barely blinking, afraid even a breath would count as movement. Then, silence. The tapping stopped. The shape faded from view, swallowed by the dark. I waited. 1 minute. 2. 5. Nothing. I tried the ignition again. Click. Whir. The engine started. I didn't even check my mirrors. I slammed it in reverse, spun the wheel, and floored it. I don't remember how I got back to the highway. I don't remember seeing the cones. I just remember the sound of tires on pavement again, and the soft glow of the GPS finally rerouting to normal roads. I didn't make it to my cousin's. I pulled into a gas station around 4 a.m. and just sat there under the fluorescent lights until sunrise. When I checked my phone later, there was no record of a service road 17. Nothing on Google Maps. No recent construction near mile 84. But my GPS history? It saved the route. Only the entry was corrupted. Just a long string of numbers and symbols. And under it, a timestamp. 2:17 a.m., stopped moving. I haven't driven at night since. He didn't ask where I was going. He just got in, shut the door, and whispered my full name, my street address, and then asked, "How's your daughter?" I live alone. I've always lived alone. I've never been the kind of guy to pick up hitchhikers. Call it paranoia or common sense. But something about this one, it felt different. I was driving through rural Pennsylvania around 11 p.m., heading home from a weekend trip. Two-lane road, no lights, no other cars. That kind of silent darkness that makes your brain start hearing things. That's when I saw him. A man on the shoulder, standing perfectly still. Not thumbing for a ride, just waiting. He wasn't waving or pacing. He was facing the road like he already knew I'd stop. And I did. I don't even remember making the decision. My hands just turned the wheel. The tires crunched over gravel. I hit the brakes. He didn't speak. Just opened the door and got in. He wore a dusty gray coat, the kind you'd find at a thrift store in a forgotten town. Pale skin. Shadowed eyes. But it was his voice, low, gravelly, like someone who didn't speak often, that made the hair rise on my arms. "Thanks for stopping," my full name. I froze. He hadn't seen my license, hadn't asked my name. I never told him. But he said it exactly right, including the middle name I never use. I laughed awkwardly. "Do I know you?" He smiled. "No. But I know you." Then he turned his head to look out the window like we were done with introductions. I kept driving, unsure whether to kick him out or just pretend it hadn't happened. Maybe he saw my name on a piece of mail? Maybe I left something with my info on the dash? Then he said it. "You really should have let your daughter stay home tonight." I blinked. My hands clenched the steering wheel. "I don't have a daughter," I said slowly. He didn't respond. Just stared out at the trees, nodding slightly. Like I'd confirmed something. The road ahead felt longer. Thinner. Like the dark was closing in. I reached for my phone to pretend I had a call coming, anything to break the silence. But my phone was dead. Full battery when I left. Now nothing. That's when I glanced in the mirror. And I swear to God, for a second, his reflection wasn't sitting. It was standing. Behind my seat. Grinning. I turned around so fast I nearly veered into the trees, but he was still there, seated, calm. I tried to play it cool. "So, where you headed?" He finally looked at me. "Know where you've been yet?" My mouth went dry. We drove in silence for what felt like hours, though the clock said 15 minutes. The road signs started to change. Distorted symbols. Backwards lettering. A green sign said exit 0, stay awake, in flickering paint. I slowed down, heart pounding. He leaned closer. "It's almost time now. Try not to scream this time." I hit the brakes. Hard. The car skidded to a stop, tires shrieking in the empty night. "Out," I snapped. "Get out now." But when I looked to the passenger seat, it was empty. Door still closed. No sound. No trace of anyone ever being there. And in the cup holder was a child's hair tie, big, with a little plastic butterfly. I don't have kids. I don't let anyone in my car. I stared at it, cold rising up my spine, until I noticed something else in the mirror. My back seat. A handprint. Small. Really. Pressed to the inside of the rear window. I didn't drive the rest of the way home. I pulled over at a gas station, locked the doors, and waited until sunrise. When I finally got home, I went online, looking up stories, myths, anything. I found one mention. Just one. A thread from 5 years ago. Titled, "The Hitchhiker Who Knows You." Dozens of people describing the same encounter. Some said he knew their secrets. Others said he showed them memories that weren't theirs. Some said he asked about children they didn't have yet. Most of the comments ended the same way. I saw him again 6 months later, and this time I wasn't alone in the car. I threw the hair tie in the trash, but it came back. Next morning it was on my nightstand. Same butterfly, same tangled strand of hair. And last night, there were 2 handprints on the window. One big, one small.